Are you like Coach C9? You know how fast LS got fired? It took 4 weeks for him. If I go in there, it would take 4 minutes. I would literally have the speedrun record. Maybe I'll just do a Q&A. I'm kind of just chilling. Okay, I should have shaved, but man, that's all right. Favorite Star Wars character? Jar Jar's not that bad, honestly. Lando's not bad. It might actually be Obi-Wan. That seems probably like my favorite. You reading manga recent? Yes, it's all been bad, so I don't talk about it. Latest TV shows, anime you watched and enjoyed. I've actually watched. I don't watch much TV shows and anime. I'll be honest, but I'll watch like an episode of something here and there. Like if I go over to someone's house or like I'll be outside watching with Yvonne. So recently I watched eight episodes of Demon Slayer, like just straight. They did a really great job this season. So usually what happens to save animation budget when you're doing a shonen anime, you repeat a lot of things. And if you're fighting, like you spend a lot of time like talking, not really fighting, because the budget to animate fighting and different fighting scenes is really expensive. So you find if you watch Dragon Ball, there's a really good example of like them doing the same thing over and over. They're fucking charging up, they're fucking powering up. Dude, I'm holding up my spear, but any second now I can throw this shit at you guys. But not this episode, probably not the next episode, probably not the third episode. But I think they just didn't really do that. Sure, repeated a little bit, and they saved some budget there. The repetition was mainly to set up the situation for be in between episodes, right? And they just played like 6 to 7 episodes straight of nonstop action, which is probably unheard of. Not a lot of animes could do that, and it's kind of crazy. They did a really good job. OTV plus Trash Taste collab. I don't think I watch enough anime. I don't think anyone in OTV watches enough anime to go on that collab. But to be fair, I heard the podcast doesn't really talk about anime, so it's like maybe okay. The moment you start analyzing anime, you lose interest in anime. Depends how passionate you are with it. I think Gigak is a good example of like, you know, that guy watches a lot of anime, and you know he's really passionate about it. And I'm sure he's burned out of anime in the past, but like it's been fucking 8 years. This guy's still making anime YouTube videos, man. Would you prefer money or slightly less money and more happiness? I've been thinking about career change. I just can't take the commute. It depends on your cost of living. In LA, I think someone did a study that said that like you had to be making like $250,000 or a little bit over like 150 to 200K to feel really good about your living situation. And then at that point, like the money doesn't fucking matter anymore. And at different areas, like if I lived in Texas, I would need to be making like fucking 50K or something. Texas is so dirt cheap to live in. I'd be happy. I think it depends what stage in life you're at, because I couldn't go back easily to a 9 to 5 if I couldn't work from home, because I appreciate being able to do that. Has OT ever thought about relocate? Yeah, I'm never gonna fucking do it. The only reason you relocate is because the people in those said places, Texas or Vegas, are begging people to come there to make it more interesting for them. Honestly, LA is great. The only reason you don't like to living in LA is you don't like paying taxes. That's it. I mean, let's be honest. The cost of living is high. You don't want to pay taxes. I get it. But like, it's not more fun. LA culture drives me nuts. I think the downsides to LA are like, it's a really hustle oriented culture. Cause it's so expensive. People come here for like the American dream a lot of times. So a lot of people are hustling nonstop. Even if you live close to people, a lot of times, like since everyone's hustling, you have to be really good at reaching out. But aside from that, the food is amazing here. There's a lot of shit to do. It's just really fucking expensive. Have you lived in New York? No, I've been there. I visited because I was looking to apply to NYU, New York University, and I got waitlisted. But I visited because I was like, oh, I wonder how the area is. I wonder how New York is. I found out that I visited underage and I couldn't enter any of the hotels, and they wouldn't let me in. So I ended up sleeping at like on a bench outside in the Central Park somewhere. It was kind of, I was homeless pretty much until my parents could like call the hotel and like fucking be like, hey, like let my son in. So yeah, I found out that if you're like underage, you literally can't get a single hotel in New York. At the time I went, it was pretty bad. Is the MT sponsor offered XCC 1.2 mil for nothing? I don't need to see that to know they're willing to spend money. You know what I see? I can literally go in LA to LA Live and look at the Staples Center, which is now called the Crypto.com Arena, because someone paid $200 million to change the name to that. $200 fucking million. Someone paid, what is it, TSM? Fucking $20 million fucking dollars. They have a shitload of money and they're willing to like flex for it, and they're just to get their name out. They don't care operating at a loss. It's just getting people more interested in crypto. Like they are willing to lose a boatload of money for them to potentially gain more later. How's the gym going for you? I've gone every day this month, except for the 2 days I went on, 3 days I went on a ski trip. It doesn't get better. I'm trying to, I think I'm the type of person, I figured it out. I'm the type of person that just like once, it doesn't matter if I like doing it or not. If I create the routine, I can force myself to do anything. So kind of like streaming. I kind of made the routine, so I always stream now. Streaming is like as easy as breathing to me. I probably forget to stream less than I forget to brush my teeth at this moment. So I could probably do that for anything. And I decided like I'll try to do that for the gym because I don't think there's any world where I'm gonna like it. 8 tips on how to hold those habits. I set a routine for work research this year, but this week I mega burnout. Okay, for me, what happens is it's different for every person, so it's up to you. I don't know my limits for certain things, so I do a routine until I burn out, and then I pull back a little bit, and then I reassess and I keep going, and I'll try to adjust it downwards. Maybe I'll adjust the slider down a lot. So a good example is like, let's say I burn out going every day, which is highly likely I'm gonna burn out at some point. Then I'll scale back to like maybe 4 days or 3 days, and then maybe I'll scale up after I figure out, okay, it wasn't that bad, but I need to know what my limit is when it comes to burning out. Because I realize when it comes to streaming, I don't really have a burnout limit a lot of times. So I think it's different for every person. What's a healthy work-life balance look for a streamer? The opposite of what I do. I think I have one of the least healthy work-life balances out there. It only just doesn't look bad when I'm compared to freaks like XQC or Hassan, who stream like a god forbidden amount of hours. But like, I have a really bad work-life balance. Don't talk to me. No. I always think the funniest stat is I streamed 365 days a year in 2019. In 2020, I had more hours streamed than in 2019, where I streamed every day. I always look at that stat, I'm like, damn, I really have no life. I'm a fucking loser. Now, how do you like skiing as an adult? It sucks. My knees hurt more. I can't ski as long. I'm obviously more out of shape than I was when I skied when I was younger. But I feel like my joints hurt more when I ski. Like skiing doesn't feel as good as we get older. Like it mainly like a stamina thing, which obviously makes sense for me. But just in general, I felt like before when I skied when I was in my early 20s, it doesn't fucking matter. I could just ski for like 5 hours straight. Not a big deal. But nowadays, like 3 hours, I'm like, oh, a long time, guys. I kind of got up quite a bit. Lowkey, awesome purchases you made recently. I just purchased a new headset. So I've had these 598s for honestly too long. 5 years plus. I just purchased 599s because they discontinued the 598s. So I have a set coming tomorrow. When do you think you really started living life? From the very beginning. Just because I think right now I'm pretty happy doesn't mean like when I was sad I wasn't living life. That's part of life. Like I went through some shit. You'll have ups and downs. That's part of living life. You appreciate the ups more when you've been through some downs. If you collab with another streamer you haven't had a chance to, would it be? Huh. I think an easy out would be maybe something like one of the HoloLive VTubers. But realistically, I find that I don't really watch corporate VTubers that much. I feel like I'm strange in that I don't really dip my toes into the culture because it's kind of cultish, if I'm gonna be honest. There's some good things and some bad things. I really can't say cultish that much when like some of the culture around OTV and Friends is a little cultish as well. I would say like less cultish around OTV and more cultish around some of our friends. But no, it still happens. That's with every fan base. I think it's a little bit different with the culture surrounding VTubing. I said this before, but in last year, I was kind of saved by VTubers and VTubing in general. Because I was in a really big creative rut, and I think a lot of what they do is really cool. Even if I don't do what they do, and I think what they do is really good, and me not doing it's kind of weird. It's a very inspirational. I find that there's a lot of really talented people that I've met through that. Not Ham, fuck her, but everyone else. Are you a fan of One Piece? I think the author / artist is a genius. But I definitely think it's not a manga that you can read week by week. I don't get how people do it. It's definitely like an arc. You read arc by arc. It's like, man, I really want to read Wano. Fuck, they're still there. It's been 6 months. I come back 6 months later, and they're still fucking there. Do you prefer manga or light novels? Manga by a lot. I prefer art, and light novels don't really have that. You don't need to be a good writer to make manga, but you need to be a good fucking writer to make a light novel not be terrible. And there are a lot of terrible ones. Have you seen any VR games? Oh, sorry. I moved into this place. It's a little small. I can't fit it in. The only time I did one more VR stream, but it's really hard because after an hour and a half, I had to lay down. It was actually so painful. That's on the metaverse. I think at some point VR will eventually turn into something that's crazy. The idea is VR tech advances really quickly, I think, and it will be crazy in the future. I think the dream is that it will sword art, you know, the dream is sword art. You eventually go to you full dive and you're like, oh my God. But like to get from now to there, it's gonna take a while. Then you kind of date your sister. Okay, no, not that part of sword art. Was wondering when the living situation on OTV, who's living with whom? Don't ask. I don't really want to explain. I get that you're interested. I am not interested at all in explaining. I have been more and more careful about personal information over the years because I've realized people are fucking weird. Like, does it matter who lives with who? Not really, right? It's gonna be an OTV compound with armed guards. So at our OTV pop-up, we not only had a metal scanner, we also had armed guards because like it's very serious. We don't want any accidents to happen. It's actually kind of scary. I think after COVID, everyone on Twitch exploded, right? This is like the least humble way I can say it. If I go to like a boba place, especially with my household, there is a 1,000% chance we'll be recognized. It's over 100 because 10 people will recognize us. Before that wasn't the case, but now it's like such a big difference that it's kind of scary. I was like a C-list celebrity like before, or like a D-list celebrity. And now it feels like some of us are more popular than like way more popular than that. Did you give the Critical Role anime a shot? Never watched it. Nope. I don't really watch much anime unless it's like with people. I watch more anime movies than anything else because sometimes people will just sit down and be like, hey, you want to watch Maquia? It's a real fun movie. I didn't watch that time, but I've heard Maquia is a great movie. I watched Jose by the Sea. That was a really good movie. I watched a lot of Ghibli movies recently. Ghibli's great. Fuck, Ghibli's so good. You know what's weird actually? So do you guys remember No Game No Life? It's gonna be it's always gonna be a big what if anime. What if there was a season 2? They started printing like manga chapters for like a second season, and I'm reading it being like, is this gonna get an anime soon? Like why am I reading this like 10 years later? What the fuck is going on? I don't know if they printed it recently, but I saw it updated somewhere and I was like, why is this updating this late? Thoughts on T1's 5 Challenger achievement? Incredible. Really impressive. I'm most impressed by his ability to love the game for that long and still be able to play 20 hours a day. I'm shocked, actually. When he says he's addicted, like, he means it. I was that addicted for like 5 years, but like I couldn't do more than 5. And this motherfucker has done like 10 years of raw addiction. I don't get it. Have you met Mort Dog in person? Talked to him? Yeah. What? I went to All Stars. I don't know if you guys remember. You guys might be too young for this, but at All Stars, I was in the position. I was doing really well. It was set 3. I was playing Kindred. I just needed to find Kindred. I had 150 gold on my roll down. Sorry, 120 gold. And I didn't find, not even 2 Kindreds. I didn't find 1. And I lost the game. And then afterwards, I was like, so what about that game? That was a good time. Good fucking time. You're welcome to that, like, man, you know anything about Ellis getting fired? Yeah. Jack called me literally as soon as he fired them, so I got rid of that bitch. And I was like, oh, god damn. Are you like Coach C9? You know how fast LS got fired? It took 4 weeks for him. If I go in there, it would take 4 minutes. I would literally have the speedrun record. You easy to see as you leveled up? Was I? I think I facilitated them and I sandbagged their playoffs, which kind of sucked. But I think I did okay. I take a lot of the blame for that season publicly, and I still think that's the case. But behind the scenes, that team was so dysfunctional, you have no fucking idea. So I'll take it.